Hello hens, how are you all diddly doing? How's everybody holding up? I like to do a ranking of every single Sims pack each year. I've done one 2019, 2020, 2021. It's 2022 now, babe, and I've got to do it. I got to do it to them. And we are using somebody else's tier maker for this, but I have customized the tiers. And it's not the only tier that has been shared over this game, but this is only the Sims 4, not every single pack from every single Sims game, obviously. First up, our first tier, which is the top one. We're like, can't get better than this. This is what I expect to see from a pack. And that is shitting, crying, finally thrown up. Next one, Yes Vagina Slayer. It's like, it's good, but it's almost like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of hype it up a bit more than it is actually good. Next is, you could have done so much more if you only had time. And this is for packs that the idea is there, the execution is not quite there, and you can tell that developmentally within the company kind of, you know, it could have gone better. That's that one. Next one is bothered. Like, I am leaning into the noughties with Vicky Pollard here, and just, am I bothered? Like, just, am I? I don't know. Next is emotional damage, where it's that this pack offends me, but it's not a crime necessarily. Like, I'm upset at this pack, but it's kind of internal. Next is 10 Hail Marys, 10 Lord's Prayers. This pack needs to be sent to confession and really think about the sins that they've created. I'm thinking packs that just exponentially fall flat, absolutely fail, and not from a personal issue, from a player standpoint, just from a game standpoint. So first off, we've got the Sims 4 base game. I'm going to put the Sims 4 base game humming and ahhing between these two, because on first release, 10 Hail Marys, 10 Lord's Prayers. However, it has got a lot of updates recently, so I think that the Sims 4 base game, emotional damage, because she's not, compared to previous games, she's not innovative enough for me to maybe bothered then, because she has had a lot of updates. But the updates are like bringing it up to tea with the, anyway, right, you know what, emotional damage, because she did cause me emotional damage. She did. I will not sue. That is a joke. That's an absolute joke. I will not sue. The only sue that I know is Mary Sue Pleasant, so that's the only that legal reasons joke. Right, get to work. I think I'm gonna put get to work in, honestly, Yes Vagina Slayer, because get to work came with 3 careers and a new the work world, and then we also had Magnolia Promenade, and we also had shopping. That's like quite a lot in an expansion pack now, and aliens as well. So I'm gonna put her in Yes Vagina Slayer compared to now. Like, she's doing Yes Vagina Slayer, the house burns down. Next up, Get Together. I'm also gonna put I'm gonna put Get Together in Shit and Crying Violently Thrown Up, just because of the size of the world. On the box, she doesn't look like she does so much. On the box, it's a bit like she adds so much to your game outside of the element of even just playing with this specific expansion pack, which maybe Get to Work would do if she kind of infiltrated your game a little bit more, but she did not, unfortunately. It's fine, you know, she's a stylized pack, but Get Together groups are just a really fantastic addition to the game if you can utilize them. Also, the size of the world, the scope of the world, the lore in the world, she's great, she's excellent. Also, nightclubs, cafes, Get to Work should have been the precedent, really. Next, we've got Sanmai Shuno. This is a difficult one, and I don't think that people are going to agree with me necessarily, but this is an entirely subjective tier list. I'm going to put her in bothered, and again, this is purely subjective. I don't necessarily like playing in city-themed worlds. I'm allergic to talking shit, apparently. I don't like playing in city-themed worlds, because for me, being so high up and then like jumping from level to level gets quite disorienting. But also, because it's such a set, I also don't feel like I can utilize this pack for the city-themed vibes of it. I feel like celebrities should have really came with this pack. I feel like Get Famous should have been included in this. So I'm going to put her in bothered. Pets. Well, actually, I take it back. Cats and dogs. I'm going to put her in, you could have only done so much more if you only had time, because let's not lie, it's pretty clear my first cash grab was supposed to be included in that, but then they cut it off. I feel like it's not really been a thing for The Sims before to do this kind of thing, and I feel like if more money or whatever went to this pack, then she could have been so much better. They took a lot of gameplay choices, can't really be explained to me. Like, why can't we control pets? I don't care if it's more realistic to not be able to control them. Also, yeah, the cash grab, that is a crime, actually. Seasons. I'm going to put it to Yes Vagina Slayer, because I do enjoy Seasons. I also enjoy the create your own holiday thing that came with it in the calendar system. Really good. I also really like the atmosphere of Seasons when you install it, and how it really, like, I do really feel the seasons. However, she's not in Shit and Cry and Violently Thrown Up because the festivals are a miss for me, because when you're in the house and you look around your environment, like, yeah, it does feel like the season, but there's nothing really to celebrate that season outside of your house apart from maybe a snow rink and like the decorated background, you know what I mean? It doesn't really make me want to get out and celebrate a season apart from in the house, so that's why she's not further up, but I do enjoy seasons. Next up, Get Famous. Tiny world, doesn't really feel like an expansion pack to me. The gameplay feels like a game pack. It would have been a really good game pack, so I'm going to put her in bothered. However, it did include multiple ways to become famous, but I feel like if these two were included together, would have been fantastic. I also find that a lot of the create sim and build buy items are very stylized, which is fine. Like, it's fine to have stylized items, but obviously I'm left wing, left-handed and left at the altar babe. It's not really something that I gravitate towards, even though it's fine to release stylized items. But that's why for me, it's personally unbothered. Island living. I'm going to put her in you could have done so much more if you only had time, because the core premise of Island living, right? Like Solani, the spirits and stuff, the lore that was built upon, and how much it reflected like certain like real life things. There was a lot of inspiration behind it, and also the conservation career, and then living off the grid and everything. I feel like it all looked fantastic at the first initial view of it, and then you kind of played with the game and you realize that everything was very much surface level and none of it was really explored that much. Specifically mermaids. I'm talking about mermaids. You know what you did. If mermaids were fully fleshed out, it would have been amazing, but I don't feel like they had the opportunity to flesh that out enough. So they, like, Island living could have been fucking fantastic if they only had time. Even if they included if everything else was as base level as that, but they included hotels, could have really elevated this pack further, but everything was kind of like a shitty level. Next up, University. This might be an unpopular opinion. I'm going to put University in yes, Vagina Slay, because I've been playing with University recently and it's not actually a gameplay mechanic that I personally enjoy playing with that much. Specifically in The Sims 3, I did not enjoy University in The Sims 3. However, I really enjoyed University in The Sims 4. I really enjoyed that there's student loans. I enjoyed that you have to apply for certain universities and apply for scholarships and everything. I know that you could do that in previous games, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's different universities that are better for different things. I also like the dorms. I feel like the way that The Sims 4 operates works really well for a university town, but I'm not gonna put her in Shit and Cry and Violently Thrown Up because it does miss, for me personally, the chaotic vibe of The Sims 2 University. But The Sims 2 University, I definitely feel like I am living in a dorm. The Sims 4 didn't quite nail that. Instead, it's just lots and lots and lots of dirty plates knocking about, where The Sims 2 had people randomly streaking or a bunch of people constantly chilling together. So that's why she's not in the top one. Eco lifestyle. I'm going to put her in you could have done so much more if you only had time, because I feel like the environment aspect of it was something really cool that we hadn't really seen before. And I do like it when The Sims take risks like that. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't, but we never really had this like environmental change. However, it just didn't really work, and I feel like if they'd have perfected it and released it, which is something that I'm going to be saying a lot actually, then it could have been a lot better. A lot of it just wasn't streamlined because there was multiple skills that were released in this. They all operated so differently in different looking things that it was kind of hard to bring them all together. However, I do think that the vibe of it was like the vibe of the build buy objects and the create sim was very cohesive and enjoyable and usable outside of just that context. And I'm also giving extra points because the industrial part of it reminds me of Middlesbrough. Yes, it does. Oh, my arm just got stuck. That's fucking Thatcher saying, do not enjoy your hometown. Safe house deal. It's not saved. She fucking dead. Snowy Escape. I forgot the fucking name of it there. I was like, Pack Mount Comarebi? But no, Snowy Escape. This one's a difficult one for me because I really enjoy the world. I really enjoy the lore. The lore is really good in this game. I enjoy the build and buy objects. I enjoy the create sim, clothing, hair and everything. But a lot of stuff is tied to that world. So even though I enjoy the world and everything, I don't really get to experience it unless I play with that world. So I'm going to put her in bothered. That's not necessarily saying that she's bad, but there are certain limitations to the pack which stops me from enjoying it 100%. Cottage living, I'm going to put in yes, Vagina Slay. I loved her. I really had a blast with her. She actually made me want to do a full LP, which is not something I delve into that much on this channel, but I enjoyed it so much that I did. I really liked the aspect of the different people that held meaning in the town. I did really enjoy that. And the lore that was sprinkled within it. I enjoyed the vibe of it. The create some items, excellent. Build buy mode items, excellent. Not putting her in shouldn't cry and vanity thrown up because there was also some glitches with it, like with the harvesting crops and taking them to the festival or win a prize. That was glitchy. But that is such an overall theme of The Sims 4. And I'm not saying that like, so we can excuse it because that's just The Sims 4. I mean, The Sims 5's been built in a different system, I think. So hopefully that gets sorted out because a lot of the glitches do render a lot of the things unplayable. The holiday thing, shouldn't cry and vanity thrown up. I love anything that celebrates any type of holiday. It is 100% my jam. I'm a festive bitch, right? And even if it's not holidays that I necessarily celebrate, I really like having them in game. I really do. Love it, love it, love it. Outdoor retreat. Again, subjective, right? Subjective, it's subjective. I'm going to put this in yes, vagina slay. Obviously, there's parts of it that are a little bit boring. I am a camping bitch. I fucking love camping. In real life as well. Nothing gets me more excited than like staying in a lodge. I absolutely love it. Staying in a tent, camping with family. The vibes of it are absolutely immaculate, right? The arguments in camping, top tier, absolutely top tier. The last time me and my sister went camping, we had an argument because I closed my eyes for more than 2 seconds and my sister had to go at me for not being in the moment. I love having siblings. It's truly a unique experience. And I love emulating this in The Sims 4. And I really like this type of holiday in The Sims 4 because it's not so densely packed with things to do. Like, there are still things to do, but it's quite a nice chilled holiday, which I really enjoy. Not putting her in shit and cry and vanity throw it up because I do feel like there are elements that they could have took further. I think that they could have really benefited from like an expansion pack with multiple holiday worlds. Spa day, I haven't played with the update yet, so I'm going to put her in bothered because I don't really like spas in real life, so I don't gravitate towards this kind of pack. Not saying that it's bad, just not really my kind of thing. Dine out, emotional damage, because she takes so long, is kind of broken. And emotional damage for me because dining out is something that I love to do in the Sims games. I absolutely love it. Your Sims got like an A. Dine out, babe. And you also can't work at your own restaurant, which is a bit silly. Vampires, shouldn't cry and vanity thrown up. I love the Occult. I know not everybody does, but I do. And this pack was for me. I've never had so much fun with an Occult as I did with the Sims 4 Vampires when I done a playthrough of that. And I feel like, I'm pretty sure this was the first Occult to come to The Sims 4. It was such an improvement on previous Occults. I don't usually hold this opinion for like splitting topics up because usually this would be released as like a supernatural expansion pack, but when it's done as good as Vampires, I agree with it. There is one thing that I feel like was a drawback for this pack, and it is how small the world is. However, I did put an image on Twitter of my idea of how these kind of worlds would operate. I think I've also included it in a video somewhere, but kind of unlocking each part of the world as you know, you get the packs. But Vampires was excellent. Loved it. Parenthood. I'm going to put her in bothered. No, I'm going to put her in you could have done so much more if you only had time, because I don't feel like Parenthood is very good as a game pack, and it's not a generations replacement because Parenthood is very much in the name in that it's a parenthood simulator. So it's all, again, focusing things on young adults, and I know that, you know, it gives teenagers and kids and stuff like mood swings and stuff, but there's not actually that much to do, and it's kind of all, again, something that is very prominent in The Sims 4 is it's all in the menus. So it's all about like values, but you see it in the menus, and it's just, I just want gameplay. Like I want proms and everything like that, sleepovers. So yeah, Parenthood is that, because I feel like she would have done better as something else. Jungle Adventure, I'm gonna put her in yes, vagina slay, right next to outdoor retreat, because same price as outdoor retreat, but you get to do a lot more, and it's also got a vacation world. There's different gameplay in it that's like, it takes a bit more risk than other packs. Like I said, sometimes those risks pay off, sometimes they don't. Strangerville, listen, I've always said I like Strangerville. I'm not going to put her in yes, vagina slay or shouldn't cry and violently thrown up. I'm going to put her in you could have done so much more if you only had time. She could have been absolutely fucking fantastic if she only had more time. I feel like what could have propelled her to the next level is really, all those hints about Bella Goth, maybe if like there was actually some semblance of Bella Goth at the end instead of it being, actually, spoiler alert, it's not Bella Goth at the end. I was going to say what it was at the end, but I don't want to spoil it. I also think that this mechanic that hadn't been explored, yeah, it's a kind of one playthrough and then it's a wham bam thank you ma'am, like you're kind of done with it. However, I feel like that wasn't necessarily the drawback of this pack. The drawback was that the storyline just didn't hit, like the storyline kind of missed. If they'd tied it into different Sims games and really established the lore, and it could have been so much better, especially because there was so much marketing around the lore aspect of it that at the end the lore just kind of fell flat. Realm of Magic, again, you could have done so much more if you only had time. A lot of the stuff was just sets, and it did kind of set the scene, but you couldn't actually do anything, so it was kind of boring. And it's such a shame because the world was so cool. Like, the world looked very, very, very cool. Maybe that should have just been the livable world. Maybe they should have just said fuck it and had that as the livable world. Next up. Journey Batu, 10 Hail Marys, 10 Lord's Prayers. Some contract was ending soon with Lucasfilms, obviously, for them to have pushed this, because this wouldn't even please a Star Wars fan, because it was just a copy of Disneyland and it was all shells. And I feel like they could have made this gameplay actually cool and interesting, but it was literally all just rabbit holes. We don't need to talk about her. We know how insulting she is. Dream Home Decorator, you could have done so much more if you only had time. Again, the idea behind this pack, fantastic. Love out like that. It was broken, but a lot of stuff worked as well. Sectional sofas was pretty cool. The higher levels were broken, which was not great. My Wedding Stories, 10 Hail Marys, 10 Lord's Prayers. Honestly, besties, I didn't ever expect that the follow-up video of my playing this game until it crashes would be shorter than the first one. An absolute mess of a game pack, which is really sad, because I feel like, see, this is the type of thing where a lot of people were against this when it was announced, because yeah, we already had weddings in game, but I saw how good they could have made this pack. Like, I saw how much they could have built on something that was a little bit boring in game and like just took it to the next level, and they just missed it at every single opportunity. Bust the Dust. You know what? I hate that I have this opinion, but Bust the Dust, I'm going to put it in shit and crying, finally throw it up. I absolutely love shit like this, and I know a lot of people are like, yeah, they're selling dust, and yes, and I would willingly buy it every fucking time. Give me those mundane tasks. You know what? I'm going to bump you back down to Yes Vagina Slay, because brooms don't work. Can't vacuum up off the grid because there's no brooms, and also it does get a little bit much sometimes, but I love the monotonous things. The country kitchen stuff, Yes Vagina Slay, I did enjoy it. The 90s throwback fit kit, bothered. I have no feelings towards her, really, so we're just going to ignore her. But these two kind of, I thought these would have set the scene for kids, because these two were kind of impressive. We have this courtyard stuff. I didn't like it at first, but it has kind of grown me because we haven't had anything else in game. So I'm going to put you in bothered. The industrial loft kit, emotional damage. What was this one? I'm going to put the rest of the kits in bothered, apart from the plant kit, which was very much Yes Vagina Slayer. Modern menswear kit, emotional damage. Everyone else in bothered. Luxury party stuff, I do get confused with vintage glamour stuff, but luxury party stuff, emotional damage. Backyard stuff, Yes Vagina Slayer, I do find myself using those settees a lot. Full kitchen stuff, I'm going to put in emotional damage, because looking at what we would receive now compared to what we received then, I feel like that would have been a kit looking back. Spooky stuff, shit and crying, finally thrown up. You know how I feel about the occults, right? And Halloween and spooky shit. I would buy this pack 10 times over, again and again and again. I really enjoyed this pack. I am an absolute lover of spooky stuff, and I will support spooky stuff until the day I die. Moving out stuff. Previously, I would have put this in shit and crying, violently thrown up. Like, I would have put it up there recently. But with the new kit that's coming out, that's like a $5, and basically gives you this but better for $5. I'm going to put this one in bothered. I am no longer a movie hangout stuff fan. What is it called? The little campers kit. It's got like the screen out the back. So if you were looking to get movie hangout stuff, I'd get the little campers kit that's coming out soon. Romantic garden stuff, I'm going to put in Yes Vagina Slay, because I do actually use it a lot. Kids room stuff, Yes Vagina Slay. I feel like that one's got a slide. Yes Vagina Slay. I do enjoy back garden slide. Vintage glamour stuff, I would have always put in bothered, but actually I do utilize her a lot, and I do enjoy a lot of stuff, so I'm going to put you in Yes Vagina Slay. Bowling stuff, Yes Vagina Slay. I do enjoy anything that can give us new activities, and I do enjoy bowling as a pastime. Fitness stuff, bothered. It wants to climb a fucking wall. Who's asked about that? Toddler stuff, emotional damage. No, actually, 10 Hail Marys, 10 Lord's Prayers. The fiasco with the fucking ball pool, absolutely not. Although it was very fun to watch that unfold when I was not yet part of the Sims community. Laundry day stuff, Yes Vagina Slay. Really do enjoy mundane shit. Mosquito stuff, not going to put her in emotional damage or 10 Hail Marys. I would have thought that she'd have ended up here, but I actually think that, you know, out of all the brand collabs, I feel like she was all right, but she was broken a little bit, which is why she's not further up. Tiny living stuff, bothered. Apart from the gameplay mechanic or build by mechanic of like actually building a tiny home, it didn't really give you many things to build a tiny home with, which is a shame, because she would have been up here. But yeah, bothered. Nifty knitting stuff. Listen. I made my review of Nifty Knit and stuff when I was very mentally ill. Like, it was mid-breakdown, actually. And I can't remember how I feel about it. It was dark times, Harry, dark times. I feel like she'd be in Yes Vagina Slayer. I need to work through those memories, bestie. And Paranormal Stuff, absolutely shouldn't crying, finally throwing up. I absolutely loved her. It's such a shame that they finally nailed stuff packs and then took them out of our cold, dead fucking hands. This is my ranking. Sounds about right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. But again, this is all subjective. So if you're looking at this list thinking, well, Jessie said she'd crying and violently thrown up are the packs that I must buy. No, not necessarily. Because do I think that you'll enjoy spooky stuff? Probably not. But for me, 100% love it. It's also made by Woohoo Witch Sims on Twitter. So give them a follow if you want to as well. Right. That is everything that I have for you today. Let me know if you agreed with my rankings and if you didn't. Like, I'm genuinely curious because, as I said, this is all so subjective. You could have entirely different opinions and that's all right. Let's not argue though. Peace and love. Peace and love. Imagine all the people. That was a wild fucking time, wasn't it? Anyway, love you all so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, beach.